All right, we just got a patch today, and there's a lot of confusion on the new Spotlight cache, and there's a couple systems out there now with the premium mystery variant. We're going to talk about all of that. Before we get into it, we're going to go over the patch update notes and give my thoughts on the nerfs and the buffs. And we're going to be using an article here on snap.fan because cosmetically it looks the best. Now, there were two changes to the high evolutionary archetype, and I do not think that High Evolutionary is ruined. I think High Evolutionary will continue to be good. But I also largely feel that these were the two cards. I for weeks now, I've been saying that the strongest two cards in the High Evolutionary archetype is WASP and Hulk. And so these are significant changes. WASP now will only hit one target. Before it hit two targets, and now it'll hit one target. And I think that specifically makes the Lockjaw decks less effective, and it feels like that the two adjustments like here to WASP and Hulk are because of the Lockjaw decks. I mean, I think that there's basically three High Evolutionary archetypes right now. There's Lockjaw, Lockdown, and then a traditional just negative effect Luke Cage style High Evolutionary. And I believe that as far as competitiveness, the Lockjaw decks were the most effective, and these two changes were going to affect that one too, because typically the Lockjaw deck was only playing High Evolutionary, Wasp, and Hulk, wasn't playing the other evolved cards. Okay, so this is going to be a day effect, one random card. So effectively Wasp, instead of being a 0-3, is going to be a 0-2, which is still very good. Any zero card, I feel like this is a necessary change, and it's for the good, and yet I still think High Evolutionary is going to be very powerful. Now, Hulk is no longer going to be an ongoing card. Basically, the +2 power for each turn you ended will only happen when Hulk is in your hand or in play. So, you draw into Hulk, and then suddenly Hulk is, oh, wow, I've got a 20-powered Hulk. And so this, I believe, is mostly going to impact the Lockjaw. Now, one thing that is potentially bad with this change, as someone was bringing out, is like if you're playing against a High Evolutionary deck, you don't know if a 14-power Hulk is coming down or if a 22-power Hulk is coming down. It's going to be a lot more unpredictable, the actual total amount of power that the Hulk is going to have. So it's no longer ongoing. And I know that there was a deck that I was playing with Rogue, and quite often I would steal this ongoing ability from Hulk. It's now going to be like a passive effect, kind of like how like Angela or Bishop or Collector, it just happens. It's not an ongoing ability. When you spend an intern with unspent energy, +2 power, if in hand or in play, Hulk appears in every High Evolutionary shell. This is true. We've been monitoring, and the Hulk is the strongest there is, giving the unfortunate bug that doesn't count the last turn of the game. That's the way it's been. They're saying even with that bug is making Hulk so incredibly powerful. Should you happen to have energy to spare, this adjustment will remove that issue and also reduce the average power of the Hulk, especially in the Lockjaw shells where players could often accumulate energy without ever drawing Hulk at all. So the way that it was before is if you were able to like wave into Hulk, then you would have unspent energy. Hulk wouldn't get the +2 power because it was busted before. But now under this current system, Hulk will. So if your opponent or you wave on turn 5 and play Hulk on turn 6, Hulk will be currently in this new form, will getting +2 on the last turn. It wasn't that way. Now Gambit got wrecked in a lot of ways. Gambit is now a 3/3, but Gambit will no longer destroy a card if there's no card to discard. So one of the main uses of Gambit was to use on like some sort of combo where, like into like Wong or Odin, Mystique combo where it basically wipes the board, and it's no longer going to work like that unless you have a card in your hand that keeps coming back into your hand, and they mention Apocalypse or Swarm. So the simple what is happening is that Gambit now must actually discard a card to destroy. So the old decks that completely wipe the board are not going to work unless they play Apocalypse or Swarm. Fine. Mystique. Okay, so this is a change to the card on the way it works. So the text is not changing at all. And if you read the text, it actually makes sense because the way that it worked was different than the way the card reads. On reveal, if the last card you played has an ongoing ability, copy its text. Now, the way that it worked before, it should have read differently before. If the last card you played here has an ongoing ability, copy that ongoing ability. So that, because the way it works before is that it only copied the ongoing ability, but it didn't actually copy the body of the text. And so they give two examples. Electro. The way it worked before is that it copied the ongoing part, but didn't copy the on reveal part. So Mystique now, if you copy Electro was the last card played, you will get +1 max energy. Didn't work that way before. Same thing with Soulstone. You would not draw a card. So now you'll draw a card if you copy Soulstone. So this is kind of interesting. I actually could see Mystique being more viable in like Thanos decks for that reason. Next, Nakia. And I do think this is a good change. The way that Nakia worked before was 3-2, give the left 2 most cards in your hand +2 power, which was really hard to use. And specifically, I was always trying to do this with like cards like Swarm, and it just never seemed like Swarm was in the right place of your hand. Now, it just gives all cards in your hand +1 power. So she's a 3-3, give all cards in your hand +1 power. Now, if we think about strong 3-drops in the game currently, that would be like Polaris, which is a 3-5, or we think about the card that gives 3-7, and your opponent can draw 2 cards. So like a 3-7 with a pretty significant downside is very strong. Well, if you play Nakia, she's a 3-3, and then you have 4 cards or 3 cards in your hand, effectively making her a 3-6 or a 3-7, depending on how many cards in your hand, means that she, as far as raw stats, pretty powerful. And I think this will give more consistency to the card, like if you did want to boost the stats on a card like Swarm. So I think Nakia might see a lot of play inside of Sarah Surfer decks going forward. Now, these are text-only updates, and so I don't think, you know, the functionality of the card is not changing at all. But the way that they're wording it, it says on reveal, discard the lowest card from your opponent's hand, as opposed to your opponent must discard the lowest card hand. Developer note, there is an unresolved inconsistency present in the text regarding the capitalization of a word cost. Clearly look to that for other cards. Similar change to Black Cat, Bucky, Cerebro, Doctor Change, Craven. The cards are not changing at all. It's basically just a text change so that they're doing it, the language to be a little bit more concise. Then also, I just wanted to bring up that there's this new system here for 2,000 collector tokens in a premium Mr. variant. A lot of people have been asking about this, and personally, the way that I look at this system right here, if you want to buy 10 daily offers, and I'm going to imagine that one that buys these typically will be buying the 1,200 ones, because the 1,200 ones can't be acquired randomly, right? The 700 ones can be acquired randomly inside of mystery reserve, mystery variant boxes and things like that. But the 1,200 ones are the ones that are relatively scarce, right? And so I feel like the person that's going to want to do this is going to have to spend 12,000 tokens to get this mystery right here. This, where we got the mystery premium variant right here and 2,000 collector tokens. Okay. And here's my take on that. Like, any way that Second Dinner can monetize this game, because there are people out there that want to spend lots and lots of money on this game, and if those people have an ability to spend lots and lots of money on variants, cool. I will always take issue when they try to monetize progression and card acquisition, because then it starts shifting towards pay to win. Now, this game is pay to win, right? Largely, I feel that the battle pass in this game has high value, and battle pass purchasers have a significant advantage over free-to-play players, right? But beyond that, you know, I purchased the battle pass, and I feel like I largely have access to all the cards I need. I'm sitting on an abundance of collector's tokens and abundance of gold currently, and I've been able to get every card that I feel is effective in the meta. And any way that they can monetize cosmetics, cool. It's just like I moved to the state of Nevada, and I don't have to pay state income tax because of the gambling here, right? And largely, I feel like if you don't care about cosmetics, you know, the game is funding by people that do. So like this system right here, I'm a huge fan of. Now, there is an issue with this premium mystery variant and some of these new variants. I wanted to talk about that. Right here, we've got every 9 premium mystery variants open reward the following, not in this order: 6 rare variants and 3 super rare variants. Additionally, if there are no eligible rare variants to reward, any rare pull instead rewards an eligible and unowned avatar. If there are no eligible super rare variants to reward, any super rare pull instead of rewards eligible unowned avatar. If there are no eligible avatars award, any avatar pull instead rewards 310 random boosters. I mean, I feel like there's some people that have every single cosmetic in the game, and they probably spend in excess of $10,000. Also, one last issue before we wrap up the video: the new variants are bugged, can't split, and a couple people have been asking me about that. If we go into the new system, basically every 10th collector's reserve now are spotlight caches, and in the spotlight cache, this will rotate from week to week. You've got equal chances of getting any of these things here. My suggestion is, if you're looking for the new card release, to only open 4, because it's random, right? 25%. And so once you open the first one, and let's say you get null, then you got a 1 in 3, and then you would say you get Living Journal, then you have 1 in 2. I also do not recommend using spotlights just to get variants. This is meant to be a primary means of acquisition for new cards. And if you care about getting the next high evolutionary, then you want to save these, because there's going to come a time in the future where the next high evolutionary, the next big bad, is going to be in this weekly spotlight cache. And you're going to need to have 4 if you want to guarantee to get that card. And you're going to put your gameplay experience at significant risk if you're just randomly opening these to get variants as opposed to get cards. And if you want Jean Grey, I understand that. Then you if you have 4 of them, then you're guaranteed to get Jean Grey. That's how you say it. And then also, once you pull Jean Grey, stop. And then if you do that only for new card acquisition, on average, you should only you need to open 2.5 of these to get that. And a lot of people have been asking how this works right here. This is exactly that. You get a random series 4 or 5. It's completely random. And if you already have that card, you get a variant. And also, if you have any of these cards, you get the variant. So if you're looking at this and you're saying to yourself, well, yours looks different than mine, it's because I have all 3 of these cards. And so if I was opening the spotlight cache, and lastly, we're gonna wrap up the video. Congratulations to the people that were able to save their collector's reserves and not open them, and then go open the ones that don't convert. You guys gamed the system and you min-maxed it. And if you've already updated the game, you can do it. But if you're sitting on, let's say, 100 or so collector reserves and you have not updated the game, run, don't walk, go to Reddit and take a look at some of these posts on Reddit on how to min-max the system. But it only works if you have not updated the game. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And as always, thanks for watching. Keep on gaming. Bye for now.